from Sheffield, Johnny Nelson. At the weigh-in of 1 o'clock today, Homsey scaled 13 stone, 13 pounds. Nelson, 13 stone, 12 pounds. Your referee for this contest is Dave Harris and your timekeeper, Tom Rice.
That may sound strange. I'm looking forward to watching Johnny Nelson box, because although I was at his world title fight, I still don't believe I've seen him perform. So I'll be interested to see him go to work tonight.
Well, there'll be a lot of screen sport viewers, I'm sure, who have seen Johnny Nelson against De Leon and thought, my goodness, what was all the fuss about? How did this man get a world title shot? And it's frustrating for those of us who have seen it before and who know that he can box. He really is a very good fighter. Bad fighters don't get world title shots. It's as simple as that. And Nelson fought at about 20% up in Sheffield, and I hope for his sake, as well as everybody's watching's sake, that we see a very different Johnny Nelson here in Brentwood tonight. So the first round then, and we're scheduled for 6. Well, boy, that didn't take long. That's more like it.
That's what you get for clowning around like a waiter when you're in the fight game. This is a man's sport and it's all business. And you're getting them ropes.
Well, Dave Paris, I thought Dave Paris has seen enough after just 2 punches. Dave Paris has stopped the fight, or has he stopped the fight? I'm not sure what's happening. I thought Dave Paris had stopped it. He hasn't.
I think the referee was a little bit confused there, and he made a decision and changed his mind. You know, I think you've got to call it as you see it, and
this isn't going to go too long.
He's in 2 minds whether to step in right now, in fact.
I thought Dave Paris had stopped it. He was having trouble making himself understood to Dino Homsey. He asked him if he wanted to box on. Homsey's beginning to regret saying yes, I tell you that.
Johnny's really meaning to make amends for his world title performance.
Why didn't he fight like this against De Leon?
Even a quarter of this would have done.
Nelson now brimming with confidence midway through this first round. Homsey hasn't landed a punch yet.
The referee's going to step in any moment now.
Dave Paris, probably the most experienced referee in Great Britain at the moment. That was a slip, keeping a very, very close eye on the American import.
Johnny's very determined to make a good impression here, and this is how he should have been when he fought for the title, but maybe the experience will come back as a better fighter.
Well, believe me, there's been more action from Nelson in this opening round than there was in the 12 rounds of his world title challenge.
Homsey hasn't thrown a punch yet. He really seems out of his depth at this present moment.
Inside the last minute.
There's no way this will go to 6 rounds.
Well, Nelson almost contemptuously walking after Homsey, guard down. And I'm really not exaggerating. Homsey has not connected with one single punch on Nelson yet. The jabs are well short. Nelson slipped a couple. I think one big shot from Nelson would finish this. Well, the American somehow survives 1 round.
Very strange opening round though, because at one stage the contest was actually stopped, and it's only the protests of Dino Homsey that enabled Dave Paris to let the fight go on. So Nelson at one moment won the contest, and now he's got to do it all again. 2 fights in one night, eh?
Let's take a look at that action again from the opening seconds. There was the left-hander. Bang! Down went Homsey. Now that was the first punch of the fight. That was inside the first 10 seconds.
He might have caught the guy a little bit cold, and maybe Dave Paris giving the guy the benefit of the doubt. But undoubtedly that was a hell of a good left hook from Nelson. He really got plenty of leverage into that one.
Well, Homsey got up, he beat the count, he shipped another big right-hander in his own corner. And at that point, here we go again. Now, at that point, it looks as though Dave Paris had said, that's it. Waves his hands.
Well, I can see the press are all eager to have a good look at Nelson, and Johnny has shown in his first round not only that he can punch, but also tremendous hand speed and versatility. And I've got to say, I'm impressed with Johnny Nelson tonight.
Well, I think we have to give that first round to Nelson by an extremely wide margin, 10-9 on my scorecard.
I'll second that, Dave.
I'm still waiting for Homsey to land the first punch, actually.
He probably still thinks he's in the bar with the waiter suit on. He certainly isn't fighting properly.
You know, he poses prettily, but you've got to do a little bit more than that in this game. And he still hasn't landed a punch. Well, if Dave Paris had second thoughts about stopping it in the first round, I think he could reasonably step in almost any time, Jim, because this fight, as far as Homsey is concerned, going absolutely nowhere.
Well, it's certainly not a competitive fight, and there's only one winner from here on in, so all he's going to do really is take unnecessary punishment, because he's not in there with any ambition at this stage of the game. He seems to have completely froze from the first left hook they got nailed with.
Nelson clearly got a lot of aggression in his system to work out after that De Leon fight. And the poor scapegoat, who's come 3,000 odd miles for the dubious privilege of taking a beating, Dino Homsey in the black trunks.
Taking a beating, he certainly is. Systematic and constant.
The second drawing to its conclusion, and the Americans actually landed a couple of punches in this round, which is 2 more than he landed in the first.
What a difference in attitude from Johnny Nelson. He's almost trying too hard in this contest to finish it and look good. In his world title fight, when it was all to go for, he just seemed to box in his shell a little. He's obviously got the ability, as we said, because he wouldn't have been fighting for the world title in the first place.
So here is Dino Homsey from Phoenix in Arizona, in the Sun Belt, 31 years of age, 20 fights, and he's won 11 of them, 8 of them by the short route. On the right, Brendan Ingle. On the left, Gary Davidson in the Johnny Nelson corner. And back again now with the American Dino Homsey. Short of telling him to look after himself, difficult to know what his cornerman can tell him. Brendan Ingle looks to be making with the verbals though, on the right.
Johnny's obviously listening very intently because he's determined, absolutely determined, to come out of the ring tonight and get credibility back on his mantelpiece.
Round 3. And if you're at home, if you've given anything other than 2 resounding opening rounds to Johnny Nelson, well, I venture to disagree with you. British boy very firmly in control. And it's the first really semi-decent shot that Homsey's landed. Little left. Clipping Nelson on the side of the jaw. Sheffield boy though was moving away at the point of impact.
Looking at the way Johnny's going about his work tonight, it seems that you want Homsey to feel the full brunt of the frustration he's obviously felt since his world title contest.
That's too true. the left hook that did the damage in the first round, in the opening seconds. And Nelson repeated the dose there. Name of the game for the American, though, is survival at the moment. And that could be awkward for Nelson, because anything other than an inside the distance win for Nelson isn't going to look too good on his record against a moderate opponent like this. Now he's got to step in, not let his man off the hook. Throws punches in clusters, not measuring.
To use a Mike Tyson phrase, Nelson's thrown every single punch of bad intentions tonight. He really wants to get this over and done with.
Well, that's what he really must do. He's not getting paid by the round. He wants to finish this quick. The American with a bemused and puzzled expression. Maybe he did come here to serve the drinks, you never know.
Well, he come in trying to be the entertainer, but he's met the entertainer tonight, and you know, Johnny's really giving him a bit of a going over at this present moment in time. He really is fighting home just out of sheer frustration, and a bit of professional pride as well, but Nelson's a different class from him.
But he still has to impose that class, Jim.
That's right, he really needs to do a number on this fella to prove his credentials as a world-class fighter. He's got to get these guys out of the way.
Because I've got to say, as the bell for the third ends, I have to say that aside from that opening knockdown with the left hook and then the big right that followed it, he hasn't really had Homsey in trouble since. The Americans managed to spoil and to frustrate him, and okay, sure, Nelson could just jab his way to an easy points win, but that's not going to impress too many people.
No, Nelson needs a good knockout, you know, there's no ifs or buts about it. He's got a winning style, and that's what he's aiming to do. On the other side of the fence, we've got Homsey, who's come here and he's prepared to survive, and in some respects he's sort of adopting the kind of tactic that Johnny Nelson employed when he fought for the world title against Carlos de Leon. He's just looking, not really to do much, but not to get hurt with nothing. And Johnny's looking to impose himself on the fight and to win inside the distance.
And you can see in that little flurry there that Homsey managing to take a lot of shots on his arms, on his shoulders, and successfully spoiling Nelson as the British boy came in. Round 4, scheduled for 8, Nelson in the white trunks, Homsey in the black.
I'm sure Johnny Nelson's well in front, there's no doubt about that. But if you're looking to win inside the distance.
And I'm sure Brendan Ingram in the corner must be urging him just to step up a gear.
Yeah, you know, going back to what we said, like Johnny's already won the fight in the first round, and it's going to round 4 and it's still there, so mentally it's got to tune in and let the Reds go.
Holmes' record suggests that he can bang about with 8 inside the distance wins, but Nelson's got a fair old chin. I really don't think on tonight's showing at any rate he's got much to fear from the Americans punching.
I think when they throw shots at Johnny Nelson as well, they get pretty disillusioned because he's never there. He's there when you don't want him to be, and when you want him to be, somewhere else, behind you, under you. Very, very elusive.
He can be the most infuriating fighter, Johnny Nelson, but in the space of, say, 30 seconds in one given round, he can look the best fighter in the world and the worst. He's got so much natural skill and ability that you feel like sticking a pin up his backside between the rounds and they're trying to gee him up a bit.
This is a tough fight for Johnny Nelson to come back in terms of psychologically, because, you know, he's boxing in front of like a sparse audience to what he was in his last contest. He's on the undercard, and yeah, it must be very, very difficult to get motivated. But obviously he's going about his work as a professional, and he knows he's got to come back with something spectacular.
This is what we were talking about, wasn't it, Jim? Before
That's right.
Before the fight, what could have been packed house up in Sheffield in his hometown to see him try and win a world title, and now back down to earth with a bump, and really he's going to start all over again.
It's very, very hard, and I really do feel for Johnny on that score. It's something he's got to go through. It's a process that he's sort of he's in, and he's got to come out of it. And he's got people he's got to beat to get back to where he wants to be.
Out of your camera shot, Brendan Ingle in Nelson's corner, urging his man to step in, double up the punches.
Nelson switched southpaw there, spot of everything tonight.
Pouring it on again. Dave Paris breaks him up. And maybe a little bit unfortunate for Nelson there, because he was just priming himself to cut loose. He had the American trapped in the corner. And maybe another 15-20 seconds of that round, Jim, it would have been curtain for Dino.
Yeah, he did take a good whack there. He's sitting down now, and he looks okay and composed. From Nelson's point, he's just hungry for information from Brendan Ingle, who obviously got a lot of belief in, and basically can't wait to get back out there. So, what a contrast in the two fights. Now we keep going back to his world title fight, but you can't help but do it. Even a little smile from Johnny Nelson there. Brendan says, pleased so far.
Well, Brendan Ingle on the right, Gary Davidson in the driver of the green shirts on the left. Gary Davidson, mine host at the most famous boxing pub in Britain, the Thomas of Becket, down the Old Kent Road. And all a little bit down in the American corner. Round 5. 4 to go, including this one. Scheduled for 8, remember. And Nelson showing signs of starting this round as he ended the first.
He's got through with a solid right hand now, and Andrew certainly felt it. Solid right hand.
I know before the fight that Barry Hearn, matcher and promoter, was optimistic that Nelson would get the job done in 3 or 4 rounds tonight. Homsey proving a little bit more durable than Barry, or indeed Johnny Nelson, might have expected. Oh, good right hand. The American hanging on grimly, the knees a little bit rubbery.
He looks at all sorts to himself now, and he really doesn't know what day it is.
And another good right comes through, and another, and the American now in bad trouble. One good shot from Nelson could finish this.
Referee's ready to jump in any moment.
Nelson scoring almost at will, but somehow the American remains upright. The question now is for how long.
Good shots from Johnny Nelson, getting through with clusters of shots, 3-4 on a trot.
The American blowing heavily, bleeding from the nose, and looking very, very shot-worn indeed now. It was a good round this for Nelson.
Very, very impressive clusters of shots from all different angles and good variety. And he really doesn't know which one's coming next.
Nelson once again wades in. He's really got to keep this pressure up, because the American is a punch away from going.
He looks ready to turn it in at any moment, but as soon as Johnny eases off, then he seems to go back into survival tactics, and the rest lets him carry on.
That's a good left hand. And once again, the American teeters alarmingly on the edge of a knockdown. Nelson just cannot put him away.
I'll say this for the fella, Homsey, he's took some full-blooded shots since he went over from the first one in the first round, so there's certainly nothing wrong with his chin.
And he's taken a lot of stick in this round. He's still there, just. And right on the belt. Short left, chopping left from Nelson connects. I've got to say, Jim, I didn't think Homsey would make it through to the bell in that round.
Well, I'll have to agree. He got it with a combination of shots early in the round, and there was more to follow right way through the 3-minute duration. Homsey looks, just looking at him sitting in the corner, he looks like a man on a lost mission, and really he's just here to survive now. And maybe he'll, after this fight, put his weight on stay as a waiter.
And yet you've got to ask yourself, Nelson surely had his chances to finish it in that particular round, and yet at certain key moments he just backed off a little bit when perhaps it would have paid him better dividends to go after that stoppage win.
Yeah, it's easy to jump to conclusions and say that Johnny's not a big puncher, but I'd rather not say that because he might surprise us in the next round. But all I can say is that Nelson is certainly really trying to end the contest, and he's fighting very aggressively, and it's good to see.
And he's running him on the button, round 6.
Good left hook, that was the one that done it in the first round.
I think Dave Parrish really could quite justifiably stop this now, because the American is taking a lot of punishment and he's got absolutely nothing to offer back.
It's become target practice for Johnny, man. Literally.
He's done very well indeed to recover from that first round knockdown. Now to see the fight into the 6th, but he's never going to win. He's hardly landed more than a dozen punches on Nelson. None of them have troubled the British boy even remotely. And really Dave Parrish could quite easily step in and call a halt, because really nothing too much is going to be gained by letting this continue, short of giving the American the satisfaction of possibly lasting the full 8 rounds. And the American almost falls out of sheer tiredness onto his knees there. A very weary man now is Dino Homsey.
Johnny ain't smiling tonight, he means business, and no doubt about that.
Keep him there, Johnny. Go on, keep pushing. Bring him up. Up, Johnny.
Once again, Homsey backed into a corner. Once again, Nelson wades in. Now Nelson's turn to get trapped, tries to turn his man. Dave Parrish separates them. And the American, mouth hanging open, face quite badly marked now, showing the signs of war.
You know, I can hear Johnny Nelson's good pal, elbow on the ground, roaring to him to use the jab more, but Johnny just seems intent on letting both hands go and redeeming himself. But he certainly met a durable character tonight.
Keep him there, Johnny, on the jab. Keep him there on the jab. Come on again on your jab. Come on there! Right! Bring it up there, bring it up. Right!
Talking a moment or so ago about the way that Homsey's marking up Nelson in comparison. Looks as though he's just come back from taking the dog for a walk. Absolutely unmarked, hardly blowing. A useful workout for Nelson, but I suspect he's going to be feeling a little bit frustrated, the American's still around him.
Yes, but especially, I might keep going back to that incident in the first round, but the fight looked to me like it'd been stopped, and you know, Johnny's now in the 7th round, and you know, he's trying very, very hard to finish it, but sometimes that makes things difficult, you know, to get guys out of the way when they're just in there to survive. You know, Johnny's whole career's on the line. Dino Homsey, you know, he's just got professional pride and he just hopes to go the distance, but makes it very difficult for the man who wants to win the fight to look good.
It'll be interesting to see what Dave Parrish has to say after this particular bout, because I don't think there can be any doubt from the little replay that we saw earlier that he did stop the fight.
Yeah, he was caught in two minds, there's no doubt about it. He'll question himself afterwards, obviously, and it just looked like he couldn't make his mind up, and I'm sure Dave Parrish will be the first to say you've got to say yeah or no.
Funny week for referees this here in Tokyo. In comes Nelson again.
Johnny always starts off the round very fast and gets through with some good shots, but this guy seems to soak him up.
There's got to be a breaking point, surely.
Can only take so many.
Boy, Dino looking a bit of a sorry state now. He's bleeding from the mouth, from the nose, and his face is a legacy, really, to the accuracy and the power of the shots that Johnny Nelson has landed.
He looks to have the word confusion right across his forehead. He really doesn't know what to do or where to go. Whatever he tries, Nelson's got the answer to.
Come on, Johnny. Back, Johnny. Straight in. Come on, Johnny. Straight away. Come on, go.
Two good lefts and a right. And once again, as he has done so often, the American wobbles. Still there. Brave man, this. Good right uppercut from Nelson, gets through.
Bleeding heavily from under the eye as well.
Time out.
Yeah.
In there.
Dave Parra's going to have a look at this.
Johnny.
I'm sure
That's
he'll
it.
look to stop
That is it this time. At a slightly unsatisfactory end for Johnny Nelson. A stoppage on cuts in the 7th round. So Dino Homsey, very brave, but very outclassed.
I'm pleased for Johnny Nelson that he's actually got back in there. He's got a win under his belt now, which will please him a lot more than his last contest. He'll feel the show's back on the road.
And completely unmarked. Alan Hughes, just confirming the result.
Homsey has a very bad cut left eye. Ladies and gentlemen, Nelson is the winner.
So Johnny Nelson back on the comeback trail after that drawn world title fight with Carlos Sugar de Leon, and showing he's still got something to offer. We're going to take a short
blue and white shorts from Texas, the United States of America. And his opponent in the blue corner with the white shorts from Birmingham, Hugh Ford. And the weigh-in at 1 o'clock today, Warren Scale, 9 stone 2 pounds.